I wonder what they're like. From our viewpoint, Professor, they're either suprahuman or subhuman.
Ladies, gentlemen, and those not defined by the gender binary, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be in the world, welcome to the Old School Summer Derby Finals. I'm Dan, one of your 4 hosts on the mic this evening. I'm here, I've got Simon here, I've got Mano here, and I've got Mace here, and we are ready to see what I hope is a fantastic series of 5 games. Do you agree, gentlemen?
Let's hope so.
I'm looking forward to it either way.
Odds.
But you don't like our odds. Well, I think that Mike was discussing it a little bit before we went live here. That Will was his only loss in the Swiss, but they played a tight 3 games. So hopefully we'll get a tight 3-ish games out of them this evening. So
There's 2 high seeds, right? It's the first seed and the third seed.
Yep.
So we got 2 high seeded players. So hoping we get as many as we can. At least I think of all the shop decks, Mike's probably looks the best against the deck, just because it does have that burn plan as a backup plan B. So it does have a plan B, whereas some of the other shops, their plan B is Relic Barrier Howling Mine, which is not super great against the deck.
Gentlemen, we're ready whenever you are, Will, so you're fine. That was perfect timing. Good luck. Have fun.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing, Simon. It's generally a huge uphill battle for shops, but he at least has a fighting chance because of his burn spells.
I will say I don't love his chances on the mulligan, but I think like we said, if anybody has a chance, it's going to be him.
Yeah, it's good. You never know what's going to happen. There's a lot of variance with the power draws and aggressive mulligans. Whether that be mulliganing for the right cards, that could be Will. I know he's quite an aggressive mulliganer. And it could also be, mulliganing because you get bad hands and you just have to mulligan. And sometimes you get paid off for those mulligans, for those aggressive mulligans. So there's definitely a lot of variance that could happen. And when we talk, if we can split a game in the first 3, then it's anybody's match. Even though the deck is favored, obviously, we all know that. We don't need to hide or beat around that bush. But there's definite things that can happen, right? From the shop side, there's draws that are good. He at least he has a Shatter main deck for those first game 1 and game 2, so he's not just stone cold dead to this mirror.
Somebody else want to jump in there and let them know? Apparently they're not getting my messages for some reason that they're good to go.
Yeah, I'll tell them real quick.
Mike, also slightly off camera, has a message saying hello to the City of Angels and the Deep Spawners. So if you're out there in chat, Vegas and SoCal, Mike's shouting you out.
He's not answering me either.
All right, they're playing now though. So
they started. Okay, good. Maybe they did hear me.
Okay.
All right.
That's not nothing.
So yeah, fine start and interesting from Will, right? So no response to that Suchi. No. Okay.
Okay. Turn 2 Twister.
Yeah, he very, very clearly did not have a disenchant.
Right,
but
especially with this Twister. So it's interesting. I mean, he just was all in, I guess, on Twister. Obviously, not valuing anything else really in his hand. So.
Yeah, that's funny, and that's the absolute worst possible start for a player banking on Twister for Mike.
Correct.
To cheat go. I mean, it doesn't get much worse than that.
I also got to tell you, that did not look like a confident Twister.
That was a
Tundra into I guess Tundra into I guess I have a Twister.
Just I mean, Mike has he got 4, 8, 11 4 drops to cast off of this shop plus Mox, right? 8 dudes and 3 ICs. So I mean, he has a lot of turn 1 plays as long as he draws a Mox to go with the shop.
Yeah, Shop is a lot more powerful in this deck, where he has the 4s, and also his Juggernauts, he's not facing down a pile of bolts, so his Juggernauts are a little better than they would be against an average deck.
Yeah, though Will was ready for Juggernauts, I will say, with 2 main deck bolts, but more than most of the deck players.
Sure, I agree, but like there's a lot of decks that play 8 bolts, so
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, this is what Mike needed to have a shot here.
Yep.
You might even think he might even be ahead at this point, depending on what he drew.
Yeah, I mean, he needs to lay another threat and keep this ball rolling.
He really needs to cast something here. If he doesn't cast something good here, he's completely fucked.
Kind of hope he didn't draw
I guess
blank
the
there.
good thing for Will is unless Mike goes like Sapphire or Blue Land into Time Walk, he's not getting Mind Twisted or anything, right? So Will just needs to get back to his turn and then start trying to wrestle control. But yeah, let me see what Mike's gonna deploy here.
He's probably choosing between Icy and Juggernaut, and he's going to play Icy. That seems right to me.
I think I just play a threat though there, right? I mean, Will, even if he balances, it's not a very good balance. You both have a bunch of cards in hand. I mean, I think I just want to play as many threats as possible there, especially with the factory on board. If you have a threat, I think you play a threat there.
Threatening 10 or more damage next turn, yeah.
Exactly, because then he's dead to a Time Walk. Oh, we got more.
Okay, so there's more where all that came from. Is this Time Walk?
Is this Time Walk?
Copy. Yep.
Okay, so this changes everything. Now he has a threat and an Icy. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so that Icy is good. We're Tundra.
Threat Icy
Tundra?
versus Threat Icy. Yeah.
It's gonna be Tundra, right?
Yeah.
And he can't even get punished because he has the factory for those 2 Suchis. They're very, very powerful.
It was a good sequence. I just hope that...
Unless Will has Bolt in his hand, right?
I was going to say, I just hope that Will's side
Bolt.
of the Twister was just as good, if not better.
He didn't have it in upkeep.
Fair.
He probably would have used that mana. And it only deals with 1 still, right? So he's still taking 4. Okay, that's a bit slow here.
Unless he has Time Walk, that's very slow.
Exactly, unless he has his own.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Alright, this could be it.
He might be just on draw disenchant.
Yeah,
And Mike's on
he's
magic.
gonna be
Magic
10.
6. Yeah, Mike's on magic mana, right? He's got 7 with the IC. It's 10.
I mean, he definitely has 1 removal spell. If he doesn't, I'm not sure what his deck's even doing. Yeah, there we go. Disenchant. So whatever. He's going to be at 10, and he can still play another threat and Icy on his turn.
Yeah.
If he doesn't have a threat, and I guess he has the burn. The burn is so helpful here, right? So even if he doesn't have a threat, he can still just get burned out.
Especially with the Time Twister, right? I mean, I think Time Twister usually very, very good against the shop stacks. Obviously, much worse against. I don't know. I'm taking a call on this. It's like an Atlantic version of BB-8, but it only has 5 burn spells. So I don't know if there's a robot called BB-5, but that might just be where we are with that. I don't know. Star Wars nerds, you can correct me, but
Well, in this case, the 8 could refer to the combined power and toughness of each creature in his main deck.
Yeah. So as usual, Mace always referencing Juggernaut any chance he gets.
No, it's true for Susan and Killian and...
No. I know the other creatures as well, but any way to leverage the Juggernaut play.
I think Mace is just showing off that he can actually add 5+3. That's actually that's his move. It is impressive. As a math teacher, that's impressive to me.
As a high school math teacher, more importantly.
Yeah.
So he didn't play another threat, right? He just said go and he tapped the Tundra again?
Yep.
Well, that's the downfall of this, right? He has 5 burn spells and less threats. So, like, he probably has a burn spell or 2 in hand, which is nice. But when you're way ahead on board, you probably want to play a guy.
He also jumped. He also went crazy on mana. Do we know how many cards he has in hand?
It's got to be 1 or 2. It looks like 1, but there might be 1 or 2.
Yeah, it might be
After the
2.
Twister,
That could
he
be
played
that.
Land, Mox,
Yeah,
Icy, Copy, right?
it could be that could be the 2, the die that he sort of reluctantly. Okay, interesting.
No, I think that's keeping track of Will's cards in hand.
Okay,
Does
he
he
has at
have
least
one-
2.
Does he have
Mike
one
has
divine offering? He does, right?
Yes, he does have 1 divine offering. Okay, interesting. Will got time walk here. Two cards for Mike. So, what does Time Warp signify here? He can go to 6 mana, which is enough to cast Mirror, but Mike does have 1 main deck Shatter.
And each burn, I don't think that's the plan here. He's going to go to 9. He'll go to 2. Any burn spell puts him dead. I'm surprised. I mean, I really feel like does Divine Offering on a copy of a Suchi still gets him 4, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
I feel
Yes.
like that's like he has library. He can just 1 for 1, gain his 4 life and maybe just library out from here. So
Yeah, I mean
maybe
he can take the 2 for a while, right? He can take the
Yeah,
2,
He's gonna be
especially if he
library
gains
because
4.
has a pile of removal spells. So that's. I wonder what his plan is. Unless if he doesn't have Divine Offering in hand, I'm going to be curious.
He could have Fireball on the Suchi. I'm just trying to think what he wanted. He wanted another turn without the Icy, I guess. He didn't even get to leverage because he had to tap the library last turn. If he got double library draw, makes a lot of sense to me. But in this case, he's only going to basically get 1 draw off of it.
He has to have Divine Offering in hand. I don't know if I understand this line otherwise, but I'm sure he knows it better than me. But like this is why you play your Miser's Divine Offering over the 4th chant for this exact spot.
Yeah, I played 3 Disenchants and 2 Divine Offerings in this derby in the deck, and really liked the second Dio a lot. So yeah, I'm much closer to having a 5th Disenchant effect in the deck, I think, than
But just having access to that, right?
So
Like the
good.
traditional way is through 4 Disenchants, right? Like
Yes.
what is this?
Is this a book? Twist. Okay. Make sure you got no burns. Okay. Oh, that's good. Double Triskelion would be brutal, and then presumably he has a Disenchant.
That was a hell of a twist.
Yeah, double Triskelion was.
Do you play a Triskelion on your turn if you're Mike?
Yes.
And not attack with that factory?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, you could do both, right?
Well, then he couldn't Icy, but he could do both. Yeah, Icy's a lot less and less important here as Will gets more mana. I think you probably just do both.
Well, Will needs
I'm definitely playing Triskelion.
by itself.
Triskellion's
City
still good.
Brass.
Yeah, well, City Brass wasn't in play yet, right? Yeah.
Alright. Goes to 6, has Icy on City, goes to 5, but he's used only 1 of his Disenchants. He clearly doesn't have Divine Offering because he would have cast it. So...
It's possible that he does have the mirror. Is he going to play something here? He does have factory now, so we've got 5 turns to find an answer for this Icy,
Those
basically.
were the most surprising cards to see Mind Twisted away. I didn't like Mind Twist specifically because he probably doesn't have threats left because he would have cast them, but he didn't cast them. So I guess
Yeah, I mean, Will had the Mind Twist, so I guess the Time Walk was just, I'm going to clear the way, make sure that I don't have to keep up.
I get all that. I was so surprised to see those strikes going away.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, I think you just have to jam threats. I think you're the mid-range deck, and you have to jam threats.
I mean, he can't counter them anyway. At the very least, you're going to get 3 off of that, which is more than a factory hit anyway.
Dang. Ooh. Okay, that's some nice sequencing in Will's favor there. And we got 2 cards on 5 mana now. So unless it's another 4-drop. All right. Interesting. He got the icy. You know, he could have copied Will's factory there.
Yeah. Although one factory into another factory isn't the greatest thing in the world, but he has the City of Brass and Plains, so now Will needs to get 2 disenchants. So I actually like to play a lot. Does he have 4 or 3? I feel like he does 4. Okay. I think he's at 3.
I think Will is thinking of his. Did he just activate the other? Is he thinking if he's gonna? Oh.
Okay.
Why are their dice so wrong? Like,
the dice off to the side of Michael's board is Will's cards and hand count.
oh,
Yeah.
He's not also counting Will's life total
good
with the
call.
dice.
Good call.
Thanks, Mace. Good. I'm
Yeah.
glad we got.
Glad one of us is paying attention.
I'm a little more than a pretty face.
Yes, you can do algebra, or not even algebra, just arithmetic. You know what dice are for.
You
Really
can
jack of all trades.
Yeah. Play a lot of ante. There's a lot of things you do.
Yeah. Lose a lot of workshops, or sorry, excuse me.
Just one so far.
I don't like how quickly you said so far.
Yeah. I actually do like that. All right, now all of his burn is live, right?
Yeah.
Yes. What does he have? 5 burn spells. He has another icy to tap this factory to just buy time. Like, Will is really in a tough spot here. He really.
Will has played 0 counter spells, so he has 5 cards in hand. So I assume 1 is a counter spell, right? So he's probably good for 1 bolt spell. But yeah, a Triskelion or bolt. I mean, just everything's a must counter, right?
But
Right,
none of that even matters because he just has 3 turns and he's dead.
Yeah. Well,
Or he could do that.
Yep.
with a counter spell backup.
With counterspell, exactly.
Yeah.
Show
Okay.
the power of mirror.
We talked about this, right? It was like and he may have just been playing to this. He has the counter. Mike also lost to mirror, and I think has a little bit of fear of the mirror, understandably so. It's a very difficult card to play around a lot of times.
Okay.
I think you just burn here, right? Yeah. Okay. Take 7. Puts me to 10.
Yeah.
So we know that's not a copy in Mike's hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
he could draw one.
Good.
It's not going to really do a lot, but does Will have the other bolt or fireball, I guess,
Or another factory, perhaps.
or a factory to pump? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because presumably Mike has to put him down to 3 or 4, right? Depending on what he either has in hand or what he wants to bluff. Will's on 2. Presumably 1 is counterspell. Both on 2 cards.
Four, 5, 6, 7. So you could burn yourself down to 3 very easily and keep up 1 icy to tap that factory. Will's already played Time Walk. So all this really did was this mirror just dealt like 15 to Mike, basically, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good. I mean, he could just put himself to 1, I guess. So
You have
that
to tap
Will.
you have to tap factory though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He put himself to 2. Right. He needs to keep 1 land back for tapping factory.
Yeah. Then Will can't swap, and he's just gonna die to this mirror eventually. Die to the City Brass being tapped. It's interesting though. I mean, there's decisions here.
Could you imagine if there was a Triskelion in play on Mike's side for the last few turns?
Yeah, I mean,
I
so I get the tension of when you're playing against the deck. Do they have it? They always have it. Do they have the balance? Do they have the counterspell? But when you have two threats, like the double Triskelion, you just have to jam the threats, and you can keep your factory safe, right? I think
you're
that's
not giving up anything. You're giving up one icy tap. It's not like, oh, now I can't
Well,
do all the shit.
No,
I
because
think
City of Brass deals him an extra damage, so he can tap City, C, Workshop, and Ruby, still get to 3, and have 2 mana up to tap the factory and the city on Will's upkeep.
Oh, that's I agree. That's probably what he's going to do. I'm just thinking back to that turn that he didn't cast Trike.
it didn't catch Triskelion.
Oh, yes.
All he gave up was one icy tap to not cast that Trike.
Yeah, I think I
Which
just
would
cast
be completely
Triskelion and
inappropriate. Yeah.
I might not even attack with factory. Maybe if you really feel like you need to keep the IC tapping his stuff, but I think you would definitely attack, and you cast Triskelion.
Yeah.
And you force him to have. He doesn't have Chant, right? I mean, he had Suchi in play, right? Was I think what he had in play at that point?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, baby. There it is.
All right.
If he moves from here, he has the best card in Magic in play through Will's counterspell in hand. So Will really, really needs to have a burn spell here. Does he play? He plays. Does he play the fireball? Let's look.
One fireball, 2 bolts. He
And
played
2
one bolt. Yeah, so he has a fireball and a bolt.
So he has a bunch of outs to get to a burn spell.
He also. What? He's thinking if he wants to burn some more.
I think he definitely burns. I think he burns for. He's burning for 3. Don't tap that City of Brass. When do you have to sacrifice Mirror? Beginning of your upkeep?
Yes, I think it triggers at your upkeep.
What? Oh, Will burned. Okay.
So he can also just have.
Burning is just free value, right? Like it lets that factory get in. If somehow he's going to win that way, it's just there's no reason not to do.
How's he going to get this factory past these 2 ICs though?
No, but at some point, like if
No. I mean, you take any life gain, right? He's accepting any
regrowth
life
for
gain.
Bolt. He wins. That's what he needed to draw was regrowth. Yeah, that's it.
Wow.
I also would have definitely tapped that City of Brass on his draw phase.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, that's a no-brainer. You can't tap it upkeep because all the triggers go on the stack. I don't even know how that fucking works, but I'm sure it doesn't work for him. But you definitely have to tap Icy on draw step and leave the other Icy for Mishra's Factory.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. You always go tap. I mean, you want to tap it anyway, right? Because you would do it end of turn, so he loses a life. You may as well do it as a way to cut off his good spells, right?
Right. I think he was a little just because you can't really do it upkeep because of the way that what the hell is that card? Fucking mirror works, but you have to do it draw step. Wow, that's really all right. So Will dodged about 7 bullets there, a Triskelion and an Icy that all could have killed him. Okay.
Yep.
Sneaked in. Yeah, I mean, so we see the power of BB5 or 4+4, 5+3, whatever we're calling this.
BB 4+4. There you go.
Yeah.
1+1 plus 2+1.
Just rolls off the tongue. I mean, and again, the power of mirror, right? I mean, Mike especially has one shatter. So unless he's burning Will out when he casts mirror, which is a possibility, right? He can just have a bolt and a sonic blast when Will casts mirror. That's probably the best thing. But just one shatter. I mean, Will, unless he is about to die, should always be able to play it with counterspell backup. Let's say 90% of the time or something.
If you're Will, are you needling him, saying, "Man, it's a good thing you didn't tap my City of Brass," or just to try and rile him up, or are you just, I don't know. I think I am saying that.
It's not like a Teddy KGB situation.
I think it is a little bit.
Thank you.
I don't know.
Should be. I don't think Will's going to do it, but I would be doing it in issues.
I think I think you just play this game. If you want to do it, I think it's better to bring it up in between a non-linear game. So you bring it up between game 2 and 3 when it's completely left Mike's mind if it was even there.
No, but don't you want him marinating in this? Like, oh my
No,
god,
I want him.
he
I want him
punted so
thinking
hard.
like, why is he talking about game 1 when we're about to go into game 3?
But that might make him think that he's still thinking about it. You know, like I don't know.
Or it could just be the super tilt, because especially like, what if this game coming up goes really long, and then Will's just like, yeah, by the way, that thing that happened in game 1, and Mike's just like tilts off into oblivion.
It's I think a lot of the sort of trash talking and the leveling of mind gaming, it's very much early Magic, right? Mm-hmm. And I really do love it, but I'm not sure how much impact it has on anybody who's. Oh, yeah, I mean, I think it does impact some
Chad
players.
Chad is telling us that Mike does not tilt. So
yeah, well, and that's.
Well,
I mean, everyone.
He's clearly a man who doesn't give a fuck, as you can see by his deck pick, and that's part of the reason why we're needling him so hard. His deck pick is fucking embarrassing.
You say that.
The glare on the sideboard.
This isn't
how all the cards are, like, I don't know, like, all things being equal, like, obviously I'm going to root for Will a bit, right? Like, I've known him forever, et cetera, but, like...
He's your son!
Deck pick alone. Yeah, he's also, right, he's my 5th child, as Wiseman congratulated me on long ago. But... I don't know what all these cards even do. Is that the 4th Juggernaut? Is that the 3rd Icy? Is that 1 Tetra? Like, I don't fucking know what any of these cards are, so it's kind of annoying.
So this is not like BB4+4, whatever. This is Towel Shops.
Yeah, also on a towel, which whatever. Like, that sort of is what it is.
The tag of the towel showing on the upper right corner is like chef's kiss, though.
Yeah, no, that's just the
clearest thing in the photo.
Yeah.
I just figured that was a Slay the Spire shout out with the tag on the merchant's rug.
Oh no, that's a good one though. It's funny though. One thing we can read on his deck pick is the brand of this towel. What is this? Mizrath? I don't know.
Mizrahi. Isaac Mizrahi.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Val Venus Shops.
Mizrahi Shops.
Deck pick is Mizrabble.
Yeah.
Mizrabble.
All right, I'm going to try and be nicer this game, okay?
That's fair.
He did fix his camera, which I do appreciate, because the camera last match he played was really rough. So I do appreciate Mike fixing the camera.
It has weirdly gotten darker in his space since this started. I don't know what that's about.
Yeah, it's a bit darker, but I think I can see everything just fine. But the angle last match Mike played was just rough.
Is he from Chicago? Because the sun's probably set in the last half hour if he's in the Midwest.
I think he's in Vegas.
Vegas, yeah.
Okay.
So it's still early for him.
Did
Will's got some artificial light.
Will Mulligan to 6? Okay.
Yeah.
Mike on the play.
Yep.
All right.
The worst possible card for Will to see.
Big Harrow. You're welcome, guys. I had to put up with that last match. You got him to tilt his camera.
Andy.
You got him to put down a playmat. That's what matters. I don't mind
with
the
first turn counterspell mana.
Yep.
I mean, tactical advantage. Honestly, if you're flipping orbs, you want a playmat, guys.
True.
I mean, you're advantaged to have a playmat. It is much harder to flip.
You want to be playing on a towel. I think a towel just grabs an orb, right?
It's basically a Calca Brain playmat / towel.
It's better.
Yeah.
Those 1995 feelings.
All right, so it feels like Mike kept a pretty standard library plus not a lot of action so far.
Just hoping, yeah.
Yeah, which is still a great keep. If he has library and literally any other 6 cards, I think it's a keep.
Especially if Will is just on a hand of disenchants and swords that are not doing anything right now.
I 1000% have to shout out this comment from chat that a towel for orb flipping would be absorbent.
Oh god. Who said that? Where are we? Who fucking said that? What is this? No.
Show yourselves again in chat.
Mana Birds. Is that Greg?
I don't think so.
I think that is Greg.
It is Greg, okay.
Yeah.
It is Greg. Yeah, fuck you, Greg. All right. Meanwhile, there's some Magic the Gathering happening.
How dare
Okay.
they?
Okay,
That's
not
a-
much though. Well,
That's a cheeky
library.
factory.
And,
Yeah, it's a cheeky factory attack, I think, though.
Yeah, it really is.
All right. So we're game 2. So again, only one shatter.
Mm-hmm.
So this should be good for Will to get him, back to parity a little bit with this library. Obviously, way slower, not as good, but at least gives him a fighting chance.
Yep, agreed completely.
Yeah.
Will, if you guys don't know, Will just recently completed his 32 before 32. That's the 32 playable data duels before he turns 32. So not only does he own 32 dual lands, he's also 31 fucking years old somehow. So
Yeah. So
basically, he's got it all.
Dan, any guesses as to the 2 playsets of duels that are not in the 32 of 32?
Savannah.
Yes, obviously.
Yeah, Savannah was the gimme. And I'm trying to remember the dual rankings from ATC. It's not any of the red ones, probably. Is it?
It's not any of the blue ones.
Yeah,
probably.
it's obviously not any of the blue ones.
It's
also
obviously not a blue one.
Scrubland, because we can see that. Is it
Are we
Taiga?
Triskelion
Ranking?
here?
Yep.
Okay.
Does he have copy?
Wait, is he going
Loaded.
off of library?
Yes. Double Triskelion.
Ooh.
All right. Will has how many cards? 3?
5.
3.
Oh no, sorry.
He
3.
didn't
Three.
move the die.
His
Yeah.
dice was wrong. Son of a
Very
bitch.
good attention to the hand dice.
He
I,
tricked
You
me.
had one job, Mace. You had one
That's
job.
right. Well, it was either 5 or 3, which is very on theme.
right.
It's 8 either way.
What's the difference, really? Yeah. 2? How do we feel about this play of going off library? Because he could have played 1 trike and kept library up.
I mean, this is 2-turn clock, right? Well, not now.
Oh, he even
but-
has the 1 mana. That's such a big swords, right? Because he gets to draw a card now. That's humongous.
Kanekio in chat says, I watched Mike flip his desk over the last time he lost a tournament. I want to see that excitement again.
Well, you're in luck, chat.
Was this? Yeah, I thought he didn't tilt. I thought someone said he doesn't tilt.
I will say, this is the same person who told me that Mike doesn't tilt. So...
Okay, so unreliable.
Unreliable narrator.
Yeah. I guess flipping a desk is the ultimate of tilting the desk and oneself.
Right, you're literally tilting things.
Yeah, I have seen a hole punch in the wall at a Magic tournament, Friday Night Magic.
At a Friday Night Magic of all fucking places? Jesus Christ.
It's on purpose?
Ooh.
Oh my god.
Ooh.
Okay. That's weird sequencing, right? Why?
Oh, I like that. He's obviously going to tap out for Tome. He can get it through for free. I think that's fine. I still think there's a world where he could still be on library. He's only 1 card away. I think he has 5. So
Maybe the thought was to apply pressure and then ancestral to get back, which is fine. I agree.
I agree. I just wonder if there was a way. Maybe there's just not a way to do it and be on library. Maybe he could have actually tapped library now and kept a land in his hand to be able to library on his turn. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just thinking about all those possibilities. But either way, I agree. Applying pressure and then being able to library or ancestral back up to library is a hell of a lot.
Is the is the Triskelion in the graveyard or is it removed? He didn't gain 1 as far as okay, but he didn't gain 1.
He didn't. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Because I think that's always okay.
Someone just figured that out.
Wow. Okay. This is about the time where Will draws balance.
Yeah. Also his own ancestral, not bad.
He's at 16.
He's at 11?
Is he scooping?
He's 11. He's dead. Yeah, he's dead.
Oh, he's at 11. Okay.
Yeah.
I can't. You're right. 5 plus
Yeah.
5 plus 1.
4,
I saw
3,
the
buddy.
5 there for some reason. 5 plus 5 plus 1 plus 5.
5 plus 5. All right.
Okay, so 1-1, and really there's a world where that could have been 2-0 Mike. I mean, Jesus Christ. He's putting up a hell of a fight in this matchup where he's a pretty solid dog.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, his I like how his deck. I mean, so it didn't come up as far as we know in those first 2 games, but he had one dead card, right? Both of them had a dead card in the Abyss. So that goes away. I mean, I think sideboarding gets interesting, probably more interesting for Mike, less interesting for Will. I think Will basically is just on, the plan. You shave 3 or 4 cards and you bring in 3 or 4 better cards for the matchup. But Mike's actually gets a little bit more interesting, I think, because I think he actually has some more decision points here.
Chad is asking what I think is a very valuable question. What does Mike do versus Moat?
Well, Will's not playing it, so we're not going to worry about that here. But he has 1 Tetraverse and 5 burn spells. So, and his
I
Chaos
thought Will
Orb.
had a Moat. I'm sorry. I would have just dismissed.
Yeah, Will doesn't have a moat. He's just on 1 mirror, 1 abyss, 0 moats, and no second abyss in the sideboard. Sometimes you see a second abyss in the sideboard. He's on the 4 Sarah plan instead.
Yeah, so Dan, can you bring up Will as Simon mentioned, his sideboarding is pretty
we'll bring up
straightforward. Brings in Chant, Dio, whatever, maybe it switches a land out, maybe a blast, whatever. But it's just like some minor upgrades across the board. Mike's is much more interesting. He has 2 sages that are phenomenal in this matchup.
Yeah.
The first
Shatters
card's in.
that are good. He has
And the
Red
second.
Blasts that are good. Just like a lot of
So I
stuff.
think
I don't think he can bring it all in.
Yeah, so I think I'm on bring. I mean, the 2 sages are a no-brainer. You have to bring them in.
Best card in the matchup, yeah.
Best card in the matchup. If especially like you're all in on these juggernauts. I don't think he can side out these juggernauts. So Will's keeping the bolts. So you need more threats and good cards that he has to bolt. Unfortunately, but yeah, the 2 sages and the 2 shatters I think are auto includes. I don't really like Reb that much here. I don't hate like a cheeky Reb, just like one Reb, but I'm not bringing in 3. There's no world where I'm bringing in 3 Rebs here.
It's more about what comes out. I think I agree. Sage is the first card in, Shatter's the second card in, and I agree 1.08 Rebs is probably where we're at. But what cards come out for those? Obviously, Abyss is the easy one. And then what do you do?
Yeah, the Abyss is the easy one. And then there's, I think, some differing thoughts. It depends on how much you like these burn spells. Because I think that changes. So you're either trimming burn spells and Time Twister, or you're trimming Ices and Copies. And that could be a play draw decision. That could be a play style decision. I do kind of like trimming Copies. As insane as Copy is, you just get 2 for 1 so much of the time. I think it is good to be able to trim those. Also, if you're bringing in 2 sages, you can take out 2 blue cards, bring in 2 blue cards, keep your mana kind of stable. If you're keeping Twister in, then you're keeping all the burn spells in. If you're trimming a couple burn spells, like maybe you trim a Sonic Blast, maybe you trim a Bolt. I think you have to keep bolts if you're on the Juggernaut plan, because you need to be able to bolt Will's factory to get your Juggernaut through. You don't want your Juggernaut to trade for Will's factory. I think that just favors Will.
Chad is now asking why not cut Icy, and I can tell you I don't think I agree with that.
Well, so I said that. So there's 2 options:
okay.
You either cut some of the burn spells and the Twister, or you cut the Copies or the Icy. And it's just, I think, again, it's a play draw decision. He only has 3 Ices. I mean, so we're looking for 4 cuts, right?
Mm-hmm.
You shave a C on the draw, essentially.
You could, yes.
He's now down to 2 black cards.
I don't know how many. Looking at this deck picture, how many mana sources do you even have here? 4, 8, 12, 16,
30?
20,
30.
5, 27, 27, including Lotus. No Felwar Stone.
That's low. I don't know if you can cut.
Yeah.
He's already cheating a little. And he's going to be cutting Copies, which are potential mana sources, so I don't know if I do that. But I do agree with Simon. I'm on the shave, Copy, and probably an Icy plan. I'm probably minus Abyss, minus 2 Copies, minus 1 Icy type of thing.
That feels right to me.
Maybe he brings in the first Red Blast.
Yeah, he could trim
agree with
another
all the
Icy or a Psionic. He could trim an Icy or Psionic, or even like a Tetravus to get in one Reb if he wants that. But yeah, definitely the 2 Shatters and the 2 Sages. And yeah, I think I like trimming probably Abyss, 2 copies, 1 or 2 Ices. I kind of like the burn spells. It also whether you think that Will's gonna keep in his Time Twister or not. If Will is thinking that Mike's on all of the bolts, that could change Will's decision pattern a little bit. So I don't know if there's going to be any zigzagging here, or we see. I don't think so, because I think Will is just his options are clear. He brings in Divine Offering, Disenchant, Plateau, and the bolt and the 3rd bolt. And he's cutting, the Abyss, probably a Counterspell, a Plains. And then one other card, could be a Fireball, just another card.
So Will has mulliganed at least once so far, and
Last game, yeah.
I'm gonna bring that up, and we're down to 5.
Yeah, so I think that Mike's they're both bringing in probably something on the order of 4 cards, but Mike does gain a few percentage points post sideboard. I think.
Yeah, the Sage, unmolested Sage is huge, right?
It is, but maybe Sages, maybe the Disenchant and extra DO just counteract that, and he has the extra bolt to kill the Sages. So maybe it's about a push. Maybe
he has 3 bolts. Three bolts is a lot, but it's good for Will, right? Because 3 bolts against those 4 Juggernauts and those 2 Sages and the 4 factories potentially.
Yeah.
Bolt really ties.
He feels okay against Sage. If you only had the 4 swords, you'd feel kind of naked against Sage, right? But
yeah, it is really rough when you have just a sword.
Yeah.
Because you have to kill the Sage. You kill the Sage, and then they just play a Suchi or a Triskelion, and if you don't have another backup way to kill it, it just feels real rough.
Your swords, even post sideboard, your swords are spread relatively thin. And so it's hard to quote unquote waste one on a Sage, even though you still have to do it. But with these bolts, it changes everything.
Very alright, is this a regrowth? Ancestral? Regrowth Ancestral, yeah, that's what it feels like to me. Especially with that end of turn swords.
Yeah.
Yeah. With the end of, because you don't really want to swords the Suchi as opposed to using any other removal, but using all your mana 2 turns in a row is very good here, especially when you drew 6 cards, even when you mulliganed.
Well, Will went from double mulligan to +6 cards, and now up 3 cards in the matchup, and way ahead at this point.
Yeah, that Pearl was just so good, right?
Yeah. Did everything. All right.
I think that's a Sage or possibly a Sunspot.
Yeah.
We are Mike's cards slowly tilting more and more to the side.
I guess Mike does tilt. To the chat people who told me Mike doesn't tilt, it's a fucking lie. I can see him tilting right now. Ever so slightly on a 45-degree cant.
Right, he sideboarded in. That appears to be either a camel or a red ward, I believe, based on the art.
I think J.J. Abrams is suddenly directing this match.
Man, that one's over my head.
Known for his use of lens flare in his film work.
Okay, nerd. Okay.
Says the man in his mid-40s commentating on a Magic match.
Yeah.
Magic's cool, man. D&D is for nerds. Magic's cool. Or something.
All right, Will's got he's real thinking here, so he's got some sequencing. He's got demonic.
Think a lot, it's never good for his opponent because he's
is this demonic?
Lotus, fucking, it's gonna be something nuts.
Apparently, Will's tell for demonic is tapping on the table like he's counting his mana, but that was demonic.
It was demonic. Yeah. It's the only spell that he had really there that he has to tap for sure. City, because he already played Regrowth, so.
He's already cast Ancestral twice. What is he demonic for here?
Yeah, so he has 6 cards, right?
Yep. According to the dice.
And we don't know how many cards Mike has.
These dice have been also unreliable narrators so far this game, so...
Hey,
I do
Mace
think
is
he's
Lord of
on
the
something.
Dice. He's gonna tell us.
Yeah, so, like, library is in play here. Like, I'm guessing his hand is probably full of answers.
He might
Assuming he has one for the
kill.
sage.
Yeah, he might just get something to kill the sage potentially if he,
You also get something like Time Walk into a big mind twist, if he has one piece of that, or he needs Lotus to complete the mind twist puzzle or something.
He's also
Yep.
not really under a lot of pressure. What about like a recall?
Ooh, slow though at this point. He doesn't have enough mana. I don't know. That's a risky. I think we're a little early for recall. But
Have
I
you
mean,
Played a
unless
land yet? There we
All
go.
right, so
Yeah,
we
so he
did
got
go with the
library.
library plan. That seems pretty reasonable. He can activate it next turn.
it
The
offsets the
shields are
sage.
down. Shields are down, and he's going to be able to play an artifact now and have Sage up for it. So that's
Yes.
pretty big.
This is
Ew.
Just for
a
2.
mini twist.
It turns off library, but it's kind of ew.
Yeah.
I guess he's not going to be able to get to Ancestral, so he's probably just going to draw go for a few turns. The problem is there's no pressure to punish him for this.
He can attack for 1.
Where'd that die go?
Oh no!
Oh god! Oh god!
Sorry if we're making you relive your nightmare from the other night, Andy.
Oh, maybe it's an earthquake or something. Must have just been earthquake for 1 because the
too, right?
sage is still alive, so it must have been earthquake for 1.
Why is his playmount upside down?
He wants us all to be able to see the gruesome Pete Venters art.
Okay, we're cashing in Mox.
Will missed a land drop too.
Wait, what? You just
No,
disenchanted a Mox?
No.
No.
Mike sacked a Mox to Sage
Oh, okay.
to draw a card EOT, but Will missed a land drop that turn.
No,
Will
he's probably waiting to get to library, right?
He's drawing back to library. Yeah.
But like I don't know. I blacked out and I saw disenchant in the graveyard and a Mox in the graveyard and I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
The disenchant happened to get in the graveyard during the earthquake
Yes.
/ mind twist.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Expensive him.
All right, we got Jugs.
All right, so this is bad. This is good for Mike, right? Because Will really kind of needs to answer this, which means he will not be on library that soon.
Yep, that's another turn.
It really means answering the Sage and the Juggernaut.
Yes.
He can't just disenchant Juggernaut now. It's so bad for him. This is the power of Sage. For all of you watching at home, play Sages in your workshop. Actually, don't play workshops because that's just stupid. But if somebody forces you to at gunpoint, if you're under duress, make sure you play Sages in your sideboard.
If I'm under duress and somebody else is giving me a set of workshops because I don't own them, I'll do whatever they want as long as they turn around long enough. Okay.
Wow,
right.
Will is really
damage.
just going on this plan. What? He really wants this one card. He can library, then hopefully he has like a bolt. He can library up to 8, bolt and disenchant something, and then still be on library the next turn. That's his dream sequence here. Other than some absurd shit like, balance isn't even that great.
Yeah, Time Walk is good too.
Time Walk is the best thing, until he can explode afterwards. But Time Walk here, so we could double draw off this.
Right. But barring any restricted shenanigans, it does feel like he's about to cast Time Walk. Bolt plus any other removal spell. Feels solid here, but he's at 7. Is that right? He's at 8.
Yeah.
Yes. He's dead. He's
gonna take 4. He's gonna take 4 no matter what here. He almost needs Time Walk at this point.
4.
Balance isn't bad either though, because what 2 lands do you get rid of?
Yeah, that's true. Balance is, but it takes him fully off library because Mike doesn't have many cards in hand. But either way, it's fine.
I think you just you just have to go all in on factory if you're Mike.
Yeah, you definitely keep both factories, 100%.
You just ride. You keep 2 factories in a C, probably, unless he has 3 robots in hand, and then you hope to draw Sonic Blast or just get him with factory. I think. All right, this is Time Walk.
Time Walk.
Yeah.
Step one of every comeback begins with a restricted blue card. Bolt.
Swords.
Oh, he can act because now.
Sage.
Yeah, I mean it has to be Sage, but.
All right,
Is he
so that
off?
puts him. No,
No, he'll be at 6. He'll be at 6.
He's 6. So it's perfect.
Yeah, so we can draw up to library, draw. So he needed Time Walk plus Swords is just the better Bolt plus Swords. So now he can draw up to 8 and potentially have 2 removal spells for Juggernaut and Factory and be in pretty reasonable shape here.
Yeah, it gives him Bolt as a draw, right? Because he'd rather Bolt Juggernaut.
He'd rather Bolt Sage, so he clearly did not have a Bolt. So, but it gives him plenty.
No, he'd rather Bolt. I mean, he'd rather Sword Sage and Bolt Juggernaut. He doesn't want him to gain all that life.
Sure, yeah.
All right, so we're at 8 cards. Hasn't played a land for a couple turns, though.
It's fine. It's because he's doing that on purpose. I do think these guys both truly understand their own decks and the power of Sage in this matchup, right? Mike has really built a game plan around Sage, and Will understands how important this is in Swords. That a lot of players are not playing their Sage, that playing Sages at all, and a lot of players in Will's shoes are just going to be swordsing Juggernauts and stuff. And
yeah.
This is
Sage
exactly
is so good. I mean, you saw, like, Will had to sort of contort. He had to stop doing what he wanted to be doing because of Sage, right?
Yeah.
So it completely just... Exactly. It just completely changes
it draws a removal spell every time, no matter what, and if it ever doesn't, you just win. So.
All right. Is this on library?
That was a big draw.
Yeah, that was.
I honestly don't know what you strip here. Like.
I think
you strip Factory, right?
I think
because Will's at 6.
Hand, but he does feel like the aggressor here. Like
he
might just have to just try and win before library takes over the game, and stripping Factory is how you do that. He probably has 1 burn spell in hand.
Colorless. Yeah.
So I think I do like that play.
I think he might have a chant and a bolt.
Yeah, there's a good chance he does.
He didn't play land,
library anyway.
Well, he has 7 in hand, right? Yeah.
He should have. He libraried on his own turn, right? So he should have.
He libraried on his turn and plus play Factory, so he should have 7.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Here's the chant.
So now he basically has to have a removal spell, which he almost certainly does.
Okay, and we know that Mike doesn't have Bolt or Sonic Blast. Ooh, has the Bolt.
Okay.
All right, so
this game is playing out exactly as we expected, given Will needed to have a bunch of these cards. Time Walk was really the one that powered this up, because he's 2 damage lower if he doesn't have that Time Walk, and 1 card down.
He's off library though. He's still, he's dead to Sonic Blast. He's dead to Bolt. It's hard for him to get back on library here because he has the 1 for 1.
No, he has 6 cards, but he has to answer this library, obviously. So
the Factory, yes.
I'm sorry, answer the Factory, right? But if he does, he can and Mike just says draw go a couple of times.
Yeah, depending what's on his hand, he might just have to say go and take 2. Okay.
Strip mine. Okay, so that puts him down to 5, but gets rid of the threat, which is whatever, the same as any other card. He'd rather trade strip mine here, I think. Anyway, that's a perfect answer.
2 big strip draws there.
Yeah, both those strip draws just to make this game go on, right? Make it a bit more.
I know.
A bit closer. So we got another 4-drop. Oh,
Jesus.
Is that Suchi?
What that is? Okay, Suchi.
It's an Aisling Leprechaun, I believe.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We're
he countered
we're
the
at 3.
Okay, he's at 3.
Okay, I was gonna say, Mike could be sandbagging a volcanic and a bolt. You do that, right? If you're Mike's shoes,
Yeah.
I think.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
There's a book.
Feels a little booky.
Yeah.
Looks a little booky to me.
Still has a counterspell.
Potentially, or a disenchant.
2 cards in hand, right? Still has
some interaction, presumably.
Right.
Almost any spell is fine. All right, this looks like a Triskelion. No, no Juggernaut.
Is this the old upkeep Psyblast you? No.
Probably he might just.
Representing
Yeah, he doesn't have to do
blast
it
or
there.
something.
Yeah, but he could just he could force Will. He could just do it when either Will taps this book.
Yeah.
Yeah, he either taps a book or he attacks with his Juggernaut because Will has to answer the Juggernaut.
Well, he factory answers Juggernaut at least, so.
Sure. But that's mana, right? Just suck up as much of his mana as possible.
Sure, he blocks. I mean, the question is now is Will, with that Lotus in play, does Will tap out for book?
Yeah, it depends what Will has 2 or 3 cards, I think, right?
I can say with certainty, I hope Will does not disenchant that Lotus. That wouldn't go well for him. Usually.
You're the expert.
I think Mike has a shatter, so Mike could shatter the Lotus.
He does. He can shatter his own Lotus. I wouldn't recommend it, but.
Oof, that's not great.
All right, so.
We're on
He's gonna presumably
block.
Either way, shields are fully down this turn. Even if he doesn't block, he needs an answer. So he's gonna have just swords available to him.
He could have bolt, right?
Or I'm sorry, bolt. Right, a 1-mana spell. Right.
He needs. Yeah, I mean
Either way, he has to tap one of his colorless, which means counterspell is offline. So
he wants to block. Mike lets him block.
And it's lucky Mishra's factory is not a wall.
This is why
he still doesn't have a trike.
Back into another.
This
Juggernaut.
is why. Yeah, but so that exact play is why I was saying I think you want the bolts in your deck because of Juggernaut. I think you have to have the bolts in the deck just to clear factories because that's.
I think he knows this, right? Like I'm sure.
Yeah. I'm not critiquing what Mike's doing. I'm just saying I think that's why because I think there's an argument for taking out Burn as well. I think there is an argument there. But I think you really do. If you're all in on Juggernaut, you really got to clear blockers, right? That's your game plan 1.
Oh yes, this is all the gas I drew. Is Will just reliving this game?
Oh, he might be he might have recall, or he might have recall.
No, I know that's the logical thing here. 2, 3, 4, 5. So we could pretty easily recall for 2 cards.
He only has three cards, right? I think.
But he can recall for 2 cards, including. Can he recall for 2, including a counterspell, and keep counterspell up? He can. He can't. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He can recall for 2 cards, but he can't. Oh yeah, and counterspell and sword. So we could sword Juggernaut and have counterspell up. Oh, just Brain Geyser. Okay, that made it easy. Yep.
This for 5, right? I think.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, so we needed a swords or a bolt.
Yeah, I think if Mike doesn't draw the burn spell,
he's back on book and library.
Juggernaut. He's gonna be on library and be fucked.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Right, we got
just a couple of restricted cards.
Oh wow, he's just digging. He's digging. True Red Blast. Why would you give away your side? Maybe he's gonna sideboard them out now. Oh man.
Why?
Or maybe he's still had all these, fucker.
Don't you Red Blast the Brain Geyser there?
Yeah, if you have a Black Lotus in play. So Black Lotus taps for any color mana, right? Red's a color. I've definitely done that, yeah.
Fuck me. Oh, Jesus. I mean, look, red is a color, but scoreboard, right?
Wow. Okay.
Well,
all right.
The scoreboard, Mike really should have won this 3-0. I think if he plays a Trike Game 1 and/or taps City of Brass, either one of those plays, and he's out here 3-0. It's crazy.
These are good interactive games though, really and you see the pressure there that these like juggernauts, right? These 4-drops just going, almost every game. Mike's got these 4-drops coming down that are dealing 4 or 5 points of damage, and you can't miss having an answer. You just don't have any room to miss having an answer.
Yeah, so Will is missing 2. He's won a lot in his years in old school, right? But he's missing 2 trophies, one of which is the Shark that he lost in the finals for earlier this year, and the other is a Derby championship. And so these are really the only 2 things missing from his old school resume, and he's come extremely close to both of these this year. And for him to lose this one, it's not going to sting that much, but like, I don't know. I'm sure that once Will wins both, he might actually start spicing a bit more. But until
This
that
is
point, I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, I think, this is, we still got, Will needs to win one more game to even it up. I hope that happens just so we have a game 5. I think that makes it way more exciting for everybody watching, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it is, there's a lot of,
There you go,
Will
chat. The
obviously
towel's
has,
up on stream.
protect
Chat was
the towel.
demanding the towel.
And I feel like Will's had some clunky. I mean, granted that double mulligan was into an insane draw, so it's hard to be mad about all of that. But he has been mulliganing and had a little bit of awkward draws, and Mike's draws have been pretty gas overall. So it's hard to say. I think Mike's gotten slightly luckier so far, but neither one of them is blowing the others out of the water. I don't think.
Yeah, the draws seem pretty fair, right? Also, Will went regrowth ancestral that game and
And
lost
had like
and
the
got
one mana
library.
removal spell on that turn 1 swords. Remember that, right? He went.
Yeah,
went
and he demonicked, right? That was the game he demonicked as well. So he demonicked as well.
And he
Yeah,
played a
so
time walk in the best possible time when he really needed time walk. So like after the double mulligan, I mean his draw was absolutely insane. Aside from the fact that he started with 5 cards in hand, but it didn't really matter because he had a million in hand the entire game. So.
yeah,
Although if he had drawn
maybe
2 more cards deeper in his deck, he probably draws an answer to that Juggernaut, and we're still playing. So
yes, exactly. He might have only been one card away from an answer.
Right.
That's always the way. That's usually how it is with the deck, right? When you win, it's you're usually one card away from death, and when you lose, you're usually one card away from being, having the card you need. So it's always a tricky. Maybe Mike, the towel is like a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy type thing.
Maybe. Never forget your towel.
It's the most important item a hitchhiker can carry. No, not Hitchhiker fan. Mano, you.
I haven't read it. Spoiler, I don't read a ton. I know you read a ton, Simon. You probably read like 50 books a year or whatever.
Yeah.
I
Plus.
read about 50 at the time.
Yeah. Well, there's a movie, so I knew you hadn't read the book, but there is a movie.
Yeah, that went without saying.
I mean, plus there's the old BBC radio show and the BBC TV series.
And there's an old video game.
Yeah, I'm over.
The text game.
Yeah, the text game. Exactly. Okay.
Because it like in DOS, was it like Space Quest or whatever, where you have to type or like
King's
Quest, type in like walk to the tree or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Oh my god.
Wow.
I have lost
and
days
it's like,
of my life to that game.
It's considered like one of the most difficult games like ever too. It was like super difficult, like puzzle kind of game, text adventure. All right, so I don't think anything really changes. Honestly, play draw. He obviously had at least 2 rebs in from Mike's side, which feels a bit heavy. But maybe he just thinks he has to fight these counter spells, right? There's 10? There's 10 blue cards, maximum 10 blue cards on Will's side. I just don't like the rebs that much.
I
certainly
like how
not.
you put it. Playing a Miser's Reb, just to sort of keep him honest, is a reasonable thing to do. But I don't think I'm putting in the second.
Yeah,
It did feel like that game was not super long for Mike. I guess he didn't draw that many cards, but he played 0 copies, I guess he also drew 0 removal spell or burn spells. I was gonna say it makes me think he sideboarded some copies out, but he drew no copies nor burn spells. So
yeah, we saw Sage and he went all in on Sage. I think the Reb is good where you kind of pressure, right? And then you have a threat, maybe they don't have an answer, and they want to counterspell your second threat. And you Reb the counterspell on that second threat is just like such a blowout. Which is why I kind of like one. But there's such situations like we saw, I mean, ignoring the Brain Geyser, where Mike's just sitting there. And Will's not casting blue cards. Like, he's casting Ancestral and stuff early. And then the counter spells, Will's going to try and tag anything of value as the game goes. And a lot of times, I don't think Mike can sit on a Reb. I just don't think it favors him to sit on a Reb.
I bet he took out just more copies, and he's like, well, I think a couple of rebs are better than my last copy or two. That's probably what he did.
Yeah, I mean, and again, there's different ways to approach this. Mike knows his deck. He's obviously done very well with it, had a good run. He's had close games with Will before this. If this was a 3-match set, we'd be done, right? So, I mean, this is it's close. I don't think it's
Even his
wrong.
piles are at an angle.
Yeah, they're not in a straight
so
line.
I figured it out, by the way.
Yeah.
He's playing square to his computer, which is the screen that Will is on for him, but he's not playing square to his camera.
Or his playmat.
Or his playmat.
And his playmat's upside down. Like,
Pretty much, I think the only way he could tilt us more is the old Adrian Sullivan play all your cards upside down so your opponent can read them.
Dude, I was gonna talk about that before. Play him upside down and play lands in front and play them upside down. I mean, most miserable guy to play against of all time, and it's not close.
I used to always hate Adrian Sullivan's commentary on the SCG stream, and I met him at Origins once, and he was so nice.
Yeah.
And I just I never disliked his commentary after that. Like, he genuinely was so nice. But whenever I listened before, I'd be like, oh, god damn it.
Simon,
He'd
you
always
and I had the exact same response to his commentary. All right, looks like Mike's the one on 5 this time.
Yeah, double mulligan from Mike.
Maybe we get our game 5.
Oof.
Yeah, maybe we get our game 5.
Mike really wants to have a first turn play here. Oh, that's not a play.
Yeah.
Still gives him a chance to get a 4-drop in under a counter spell, but he has at least 10 1 and 2 mana removal spells, so I just don't really like his.
Oh, holy fuck!
Get him! Get him! Get him!
Oh yeah, what? Still have.
What did he keep? Two workshops and
3
Tricks.
3 trikes.
Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of trikes. We haven't seen the Tetraverse.
We haven't seen the trikes since they were discarded in game 1.
I didn't want to say it. I'm glad somebody did.
Whoa! I'm here for the bullshit, Mano.
Whoa! Did you see
Well, he
that,
went
though?
strip. Yeah, discard. He's on library. He doesn't. He probably doesn't need to get guys in this game. But Mike's gonna need to start. He's gonna need to play 3 threats in a row or draw a strip mine.
Why did he discard? Well, doesn't he library? He goes up to 8. Oh no. Yeah,
No,
yeah. Then he just plays
8,
strip go. Yeah, you're right.
Remember, the dice are an unreliable narrator.
now he's at 9.
All these cards, and so little to do with them.
Hire somebody to go to Mike's house and just move those dice around. I'm sure he's in Vegas. I'm sure there's a service for that, right? Dice mover. There's people on the strip flicking cards for dice mover. They could come and do that, and maybe a quick fellatio, and it'll be a nice night.
Hey man, I gotta tell you, I can't show that on stream though.
So did Will keep the classic library no more lands hand?
Library no mana sources, figure you'll draw out of it.
Oh,
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Now he wants copy.
Not like this.
What if he draws a strip mine here? Oh, come on, Mike. Don't have it, dude. Let's get. Will's gonna draw, play a land, probably, but he needs swords now. Bolt doesn't do it. This is not a juggernaut. Another.
Will.
Oh boy.
God.
Oh boy.
It's not even a good setup for balance because Will has so many cards in hand.
Balance. It's.
I mean.
He absolutely has to have a removal spell this turn, or he's dead.
Yeah, we talked about this Juggernaut, right?
Monic Tutor for Lotus, maybe for balance. Oh God.
Right,
so
well, maybe he can bolt the Juggernaut.
Right, that's clearly
the best.
If he doesn't have bolt, he's dead, right?
Please, everyone in chat, use that that phrase responsibly.
Check Is he
Okay, he
taking
has
it?
the bolt. He has the bolt. No, he has
Oh,
the
he had a
bolt.
bolt. I went to check the chat. Okay, all right. So he's live. He's live. He's at 12, facing down a Juggernaut, but he can, you know.
So just a Suchi now. So he has to
I'm sorry,
draw.
facing down a Suchi, but he can just cast any other threat here and really.
This is kind of a wild game though. Multi 5 and then a library go and then just discard. Discarding.
This has to
So
be Trike, right?
Here's the
we
trike,
knew he had
Whoa.
bolt, right?
Right.
Because he discarded bolt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Triskelion is also really bad. It just increases this clock so
He needs
much.
something or he's
Actually
dead here.
played it too. He played a
He's dead.
factory.
He's dead on board.
He definitely has removal now. The problem is he has no white mana. He probably does not have another bolt, so he really needs white mana and/or some insane Lotus, Time Walk, Mirror, something. Okay, step 1 to all great comebacks.
I was going to
cast a blue
say,
restricted card.
your comment from earlier, every great comeback starts with a blue restricted card.
Yeah, he's gonna need that
Oh,
Time
okay.
Walker.
There's white mana. Okay.
Time Walker balance or something. I mean,
Balance is getting a lot juicier here, despite
yeah,
the fact that
Will
he has a
still
loaded
has a
hand.
million
It's
cards.
one land, you know.
yeah, one land is true.
I think it's. I think you definitely balance here. Yeah. Oh no. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. There it is.
Suchi.
It has to be.
It has to be Suchi.
So that's like a pseudo time walk.
Yeah. It is. Goes up to 16. Takes 4. Goes down to 12. Or goes down.
He
to
activates Factory. Why is he not? He's not activating Factory. Will has 2 bolts in yard.
He didn't have any mana, right?
He hasn't played a land either, though.
Suchi.
He hasn't played the land.
Yeah.
He's
Nope,
gonna
just
take it.
taking
I mean, that's safe. I mean, it's fine, but you know, it's.
Plays
We'll
around.
see. True. Yeah,
Land.
that's a good.
He does not have land. Okay. He has a factory. Okay.
Will's at 16. Goes to 10 on this attack.
Virtual 7.
7. But he's now his
Yep.
his mana is mostly live. He has access to blue and white and red. He
He's,
really could use another white. Oh my
Oh,
god.
Jesus.
you don't have. I mean, so it's interesting. I'm if I have bolt, I'm not.
I know,
tapping
dude.
the
I know.
Volcanic there.
Even if I don't have bolt, I'm bluffing that, right? Like he's
Yes.
probably
Also,
not-
we know he has red. He has red or bolt, right? We don't know the numbers of either, but presumably he has red or bolt in his deck. So you really want to keep up that volcanic, especially if you're planning to attack with the factory.
He might just have time walk anyway.
That's true. Then he doesn't get to attack here though with the factory, but
Probably
it's
doesn't.
still fine because he can attack for 4+4 next turn, which is puts Will
That's the only reason you tap volcanic there, right? Is you have time walk, I think.
It doesn't matter though. You still tap C. I mean, the only reason to not tap to not tap C is if you think that you could demonic, I guess. Mini mind twist, demonic.
I think he has good stuff to do. Whenever people tank like this, I think it's because whenever most people tank like this, it's when I think they have a lot of good options. Like that's what you saw with Will last game, right? Or the game before when he stopped to think, he was like tutor, time walk, mind twist you, you know, whatever, like. All right, attack for 7.
With the summoning sick factory.
Should we let them know?
Those are more like the comments that I make, ones that just like don't make any difference to the game. But that's something I would say to my opponent, for
Just to
better
let
or
him know
worse.
that you're paying attention.
Yeah, and they're like, "What?"
Right.
don't
They
know.
literally have no idea.
Okay, we're booking again.
What if we told you pregame that Mike double mulliganed and Will led with library on the play? You know,
And was able to strip Mike's first land.
yeah, Like,
Will's
how good
hand
was
must
this game looking for Will when he went strip your factory on library go? Like, Jesus.
Will's hand must be really interesting because he did discard the second bolt. And when he discarded the second bolt, there was a factory and a juggernaut, right? I think.
He doesn't have a lot of red mana. Like, his hand, it's full of white removal. His hand is full of white removal.
All right, so Triskelion gonna pew pew pew.
Goes to 6.
Sorry, can we have that again for a clean take?
Pew pew pew.
I mean, this feels... There's no time walk here? Okay. Still, though, he only has access to blue or red. He can
That's
make
why
a
I'm talking about that bolt, right? I'm talking about So I mean, you can force him to only attack with one factory. The problem is Triskelion is also great again here for
But he has
Mike.
Counterspell now. Now he's Counterspell, so he's not in that bad of a shape.
But then he potentially takes 4, right?
Well, if he plays Trike, he probably can't attack with the factories, right?
Sure, but I think the play here from Mike is probably just to activate attack with one factory with a pumper to trade with Will, and then he could play a Juggernaut or a Suchi or something post. Yeah, play a 4-drop post combat. That's like, I think, the best use of his mana. I mean, the Triskelion play, I agree, it's going to walk into a Counterspell. I guess and Will, I don't know if he's actually on 7. I think he might be on 6. It's hard to. I know the dice says 7, but I'm not sure if he's on 6.
Played on his turn. He only.
No, he must be on 7 because he libraried. No, he's on 6, I think, right?
He
played Volcanic and
Discipline.
Yeah. He's on 6. You tell him.
All right, this is
thinking about this exact play. He's probably like, well, I have Trike in hand. If he has counter, I get blown out.
Yeah.
If I attack with this factory and try to pump it, and he has removal, if he has the case bolt, I guess, I also kind of get blown out. But I mean, what are the odds Will has the third bolt?
The third bolt. Well, I don't know. Will's hand is either very interesting or like maybe he thought ahead, right? He might have been thinking ahead. Like, I'm keeping a bolt for the Juggernaut. I don't need the third bolt, or so let's discard 1.
Right. And he just is. It's harder for him to find red mana. I think his deck. I think he's just almost. He probably has 4 white removal spells in his hand and a counter, and something weird like. I would say Brain Geyser, but he already discarded.
Is this demonic from Mike? What are we? He's trying to figure out how to use all of his mana this turn, and attack with some amount of factories here. Because he can't just attack with one factory. Probably the play here is just attack with one factory, force action from Will.
Yeah, because he'll be shields down after that.
Correct, and then he can cast a spell afterwards. Yeah.
That seems like. That feels like what I would do. He's trading here for sure. He's at least bluffing to trade, and if he has a bolt, great. Get another factory tapped.
This is also the position where burn spells can be great for Mike. We haven't seen any these games, 3 and 4, but a Sonic Blast here, right? If Will just doesn't do anything, Mike just lets him take 2. He potentially plays a Triskelion. He potentially has Bolt plus Pump on Factory, which is 6.
I mean, I think doesn't Will just have to block here? I know he's walking into Bolt and he's walking into a trade with that factory, but like, can you afford to take this too? It also just taps his 6th land. I mean, maybe that's what it is. Maybe he has a counterspell and he's reading him for Trike, and he's like, I could take 2 here and then counter this Trike and then kind of be okay.
I think it's tricky. This is like a make or break point in the game for sure. I mean, we've had a few of those, but yeah, this is not easy. This is
It's
very
definitely not, and this is part of the reason why I don't like this game is all about Mishra's Factory on both sides. It's really difficult. The timing is a little weird. Like, I don't know. I know that Mishra's Factory is quintessential old school.
This time walk.
It just copy? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Does he have a 4?
Does
he have Bolt here? Is he going to try and sneak in a Bolt?
I don't think you sneak in a bolt. Do you? I think it's too valuable in this factory.
I don't know how many cards Mike has.
Couple at least.
Yes,
I'm looking
And
at
Will's
seven.
off library now.
Well, no, he went down to
No,
6.
Six.
Oh no,
and
you're
then
right.
back up to 7, right?
No. I think he went down to 5 because he went up to 8, 7, 6. Then he went up to 8. He played Disenchant and Land going down to 6. Then he played Counterspell going down to 5. Now he's
so now
right.
he's at
The
6.
die is right. Guys, the die says 6, right? Come on.
Yeah. It also said that before Will's draw step, but
I'm just, if you come back and are watching this later, Mike, I'm just fucking with you because I every once in a while do that dice thing and mine's always wrong at all times. It's basically just arbitrary.
I apologize to like every one of my opponents. I'm always like,
Yeah,
how many cards do you have in hand?
yeah.
And they're like 5. I just told you, and I'm like, you told me, and I just instantly forgot.
I've already forgotten the words you just said.
Well, that's the thing, and then I try and do this dice thing, and I like just never have it right because I forget to move it. And
I've been trying to get better about the hand number on Teleria, but it's just you're keeping track of so many things. I'm so used to just doing it on paper, and the game is made for in person, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's really not made for this. It is. I'm always getting it wrong. Okay, so Mike doesn't have a bolt.
Oh no, guess he was on 7.
You were off.
What the fuck, dice?
So now the dice is wrong because he's on 8.
Yeah.
He corrected it, but didn't correct it correctly.
He added a card, but
So did he actually correct it?
He's just chasing it. He's getting closer every time he moves it, but he's never actually.
And this game is very close.
Yeah.
I think you're offering the trade if you're Will, right? I think.
Now you are. Now you have white and red, and you've counted a lot of shit up, right?
You can tap this jet.
Yeah, which is
Activate
basically
your
meaningless. Offer the trade. If he blocks, you can even swords or something, or bolt and
response. Exactly.
And still represent counterspell if you have swords. Like, there's a lot of things you can do here. That was a very good play or unique play by Will, I think, last turn where he took the 2. A lot of people don't make that play.
I think it's hard. It's a very disciplined play for sure. Yes. I think it's because it's hard to make those plays when you know your opponent in his 75 he has Sonic Blast, right, and you're at 4. It's not an easy play. This is also good, I think, for Will. You know, he also, you know, as good as Library is on your own turn, Library on your opponent's turn is so good. You know, there's a different speed and tenor of the games.
He's happy. He's putting a tapped Ruby into play.
Yeah.
Are you sure that's not just the tilt?
That's actually untapped.
Yeah.
Twister? Copy.
Oh, he activated factory. Okay.
That's
Counter.
Weird timing.
Right, so he's
I really.
2 copies of the game. Did he just cut his bolts?
He might have. I don't know how many cards he has in hand.
It looks like 1. Might be 2.
So we also said I like copy. These are, well, those are not. Neither of his copies have actually been a 2-for-1, right? They've all just been 1-for-1 with counter spells, but they are must counters. They're fine. But he could have just trimmed 2, and he happened to draw the 2. It's hard to know.
Right, for sure. I'm just saying, like, given, like, it's a lot less likely that you draw 2 copies in your first 20 cards if you only have 2. That's all.
Does he have 1 card in hand? Is it 1 for Mike?
I think it's 1, yeah.
Wow. Okay. He kept up Volcanic.
Chat currently discussing whether or not it's bait. The copy.
Bait for what? The one lightning
Bait
bolt
for the
when
counterspell to leave Will without the inability to defend against the lightning bolt.
To put him to 1.
To put him to 1.
Yeah, but I mean, Will has library and 7 cards here, so I mean, sometimes you just got to play what you have. Mm-hmm. Eventually, they do run out of counterspells and bolts and stuff. You just got to keep running your spells. The awkward thing here is that Mike doesn't really want to.
Sage.
Sage.
Right on time.
Card
Mike
advantage
really
engine
doesn't.
going live.
Yeah.
Yeah, this library is going to get out of hand. Will really would love another white mana source.
Whoa.
Big game.
It's true. His mana has been quite constrained as well, right? Color wise, I know it. Just to let him do all of the things he wants to do. But yeah, this is the slow library death. 4 life is just enough life that bolts aren't really going to do anything. Mike's in a position where he really can't attack or pressure Will with these factories.
Okay, there's the
Okay,
white
there's
source.
another white source. Yeah.
And we know he sideboarded in the plateau. We figured it out.
So Will does at some point have to
Looks like Mike has
figure
2
out.
cards
Two
right
cards.
now. Press.
Yeah, it's 2 cards for
Drew
Mike.
played land, has 2 cards. And now Will has a good amount of mana and library going and is really in the driver's seat. That was a really crucial turn.
So are those 2 reps again?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that is interesting. So if he did keep in, let's say, Psionic Blast plus Reb, that can get interesting, right? If Mike thinks that he can get to a point in the game where he can sneak a Psionic Blast, Will counters, and then he Rebs the counter spell. Ooh.
Well,
Jesus Christ, this mirror has looked good on camera.
yeah.
The mirror has been good. I mean, it is a first place
Unlock?
mirror, so.
Right.
Unlock?
Mirror walk?
No, this is just counterspell protection. He has the bolt. You have to tap mana, but yeah.
Sure, I'll go to 1. Sure. Does he have... He only had 1 card, so...
He had 2 cards.
Strip.
Oh, strip on
Or
factory.
library.
No, factory.
Yep.
And try and kill you.
Okay.
I mean,
Oh.
Will definitely has. I mean, that plateau is proving pretty crucial, right? Because that would have been everything.
Yeah,
Now we can disenchant.
Disenchant.
Yep.
Oh.
If he didn't draw a white source that turn,
Yeah.
Psionic Blast.
Does he have a counter?
Oh,
Twister.
Okay.
Counter.
He has not played a land yet, right, Mike?
Doesn't
He has no
matter.
cards. Doesn't
doesn't
matter.
matter. Burn for 4, 15 to 1. Will is off of library, but whatevs. Oh, he didn't even burn. No, I guess it doesn't matter at this point. He's just...
And then he has recall. Okay, we get game 5.
Game 5.
Which I'm excited about. So I am interested because they I don't think Mike re-sided, did he, between this game? So I'm we saw Twister, we saw Bolt. We haven't seen Sonic Blast, I guess. So he could have trimmed Sonic Blast a couple copies. We haven't seen any Ices.
Yeah.
And so maybe he trimmed all 3 Ices. The Abyss. That's 4 cards.
It's
5,
just going
6.
a little aggro, right? Like Icy doesn't attack. Maybe he's just like you said, play a turn 1 threat and then try and copy it and/or red blast it and do the red blast your answer.
If I'm on Twister, I want the Sonic Blast. Just like if I think Twister is good, I think you want as many burn spells as possible. But maybe slightly different approach from Mike. But I think if you're on burn spells, you want Twister and vice versa. It's hard to cut burn spells when you want to be on Twister.
This has been an unbelievable match so far.
It really has.
This is
been.
really good. This is a great finals. A lot of interaction. I mean, look at that game. Look at Will Library discarding Brain Geyser, then discarding Book and Bolt, facing down Suchi plus Juggernaut. All right, so hopefully we can have 2 7s or 2 6s, reasonable, not another Mind Twist hand or something. Let's. They've been good interactive back and forth swingy matches, which I think those are the best. When, Will plays Ancestral, his opponent plays Sharp into something else, plays a Time Walker, Demonic. I think those are the best games where both players get to see power and leverage power. All right. Well, Mike has a Reb on the bottom of his third stack.
I just go on. I hate the piles. Just shuffle and cut. Who cares?
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's the Derby finals, but like, come on.
Yeah. So I agree. I do it so if my opponent wants me to do it, they don't have to feel uncomfortable asking. So that's why I'm doing it now. But I agree. It's sort of fruitless. But
you could argue that if your opponent wants you to do it, you kind of want them to feel uncomfortable, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if I'm taking some of my, personal time to play a match online, I'd like it to be as pleasant as possible and fun for both players. I don't particularly need it to be uncomfortable for my opponent. Different people have different motivations, of course, but I just want to get to the games, right? So unfortunately, the shuffling and blah 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 is all part of us getting ready to play. And yeah, the piles. I mean, it's better than was it the 6 piles, 60?
Oh, Jesus.
These 6. I think you have to wear gloves when you do that one as well.
All right.
One of the spicier shuffles.
Chat wants to ban survival or ban pile shuffling. Okay. Is Will going to stretch or go to the bathroom? Are we having a bathroom break?
A short bathroom break by both players.
Yep, looks
a
like
bio break. Man, I almost need a bathroom break.
I'm getting pretty close to that myself too. 90 minutes. Look, Mano, there's still a chance this comes in shorter than Will's last match that we cast.
I know.
Hopefully you didn't schedule getting a beer with an old friend tonight.
I did not. I only have one friend, and he wasn't around, so.
Is this a legit bathroom break or icing?
He's just icing him.
I think it's legit. If I were a betting man, and I am. He could be nervous, and he could be just pinching one off,
So I like to take a big, massive shit before I play Magic. If I'm going to a Magic tournament, I'm blowing up the bathroom at whatever venue I'm at before I play any Magic. First thing in the morning. That's kind of my.
Jealous.
So if you see me, you want to go as far away from whatever stall I'm going to in the bathroom if you see me at a Magic tournament.
Simon Gregg asks if it's a miscut shit.
It can have different sizes, so it definitely is not consistent framing.
There might be some printing errors.
Yeah.
It seems more apt to be crimped than anything.
Pinched. Yeah, it's.
All right, they both kept 7.
Yeah, but not the start Mike wanted to see here.
Sea Go isn't great. City Go also not great.
All right, but this is so presumably we see Shop and a 4-drop here for Mike. All right, we're gonna see a swords, no swords.
All right, so this feels like a match.
This seems very fair at the moment, so it would be interesting if something turns the corner here. Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's another spot where you don't.
Thanks, Paul.
Okay, Divine Offering just
That's
so
big.
good. The best
Quite nice.
burn spell. The best burn spell.
I go to.
I gain 4, you lose 4.
Mike, right?
No.
Huh?
The life doesn't necessarily matter for Mike.
So
It's
it makes
unlikely to matter.
no, but it makes it much easier for Will to kill him with that factory. So that 4 life does make a big difference to the speed that Will can kill him. Will doesn't have to mirror kill him.
Mike is still
Will can just gain
being
control.
At 20 on the dice.
All right, there's our first real power.
Yep.
Yeah, Mike should be at 16.
I can't see what his paper says, but I know his dice are misrepresenting the
Yeah.
total.
I'm sure they'll fix it at some point.
Yeah.
Jugs.
Hold that.
Mike throwing haymakers.
Yeah.
Yep.
The case bolts. All right, 25. 4 cards in hand. Mike has a million cards in hand.
Right. Will answering one
we
for
got
one, but that's like when you're going up against Ancestral, that's not the best plan. It worked great last game because he had Library, but these 1-for-1s
Yeah.
aren't incredible.
No, this is the spot where, like, if Mike has... So Will has 4 cards in the hand. Went up to 5, 4 cards. If Mike has, like, 6 or 7 cards, this is a book or Time Twister turn, right? Well, this is book. He can tap 4.
All right, so down to 3 cards. This is a very fair deck matchup. 2 removal spells, 1 Mox, play a book, whatever.
I wonder if Mike. We haven't really seen any shatters from Mike. Maybe he doesn't value the shatters that much in this matchup.
Right. He's like, fuck books. I need to win before those books become active.
Maybe he thinks if exactly, and
If
if
this is Tetravis copy, or heaven forbid Tetravis Time Walk.
That's pretty bad.
Oh
Time
God.
Walk.
Now,
Yep.
now make dudes is like a monster play here. Yeah, that's
he's very good.
And if he has the copies that he's been known to bring in, I mean, Tetravis make dudes alone is a really, really tough play for the deck to handle.
Especially when it's possible that Will is siding out Fireball as well, so we can't even get the
Right. It feels like it
ping.
is. He really kind of wants Sarah Angel, actually.
Either that or if it's make dudes, copy make dudes, it's balance or nothing at that point.
Yeah, we saw this earlier, right? In a match, Dan, I feel like.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just the power, the simple play of Tetravis make. I think whoever did it had time. It was other shop stack had Time Walk to back that play up.
Very
But
good.
either way,
It's
Tetravis
very good.
make dudes is phenomenal.
Yeah, the Sarah Angel is very difficult to get in this matchup. It can be very good.
Yeah.
I don't think I think it's less good when they have Sonic Blast. And I like it a lot more when I was gonna say this looks like Time Twister. I like it a lot more.
This play? Wasn't Will have 3 cards?
He got rid of Sonic Blast. He showed the Sonic Blast.
Oh man,
I really don't. So
he
I
has
like
6 mana available right now. He hasn't played a land yet, so it's not the worst. But I don't know. Will clearly has a hand without anything powerful going on, right?
I mean, I guess might just have 5 cards, and one of them Sonic Blast, the other 4 just duds. But yeah, I agree. This seems, even if I'm just Sonic Blasting,
I don't know.
Will
if it was
doesn't
really
even have
4
Counter
duds,
Spell.
If it was really 4 duds and a Psy Blast, it's probably fine to Time Twister here.
Will
But
doesn't even have Counter Spell up though. But you probably just gave him Counter Spell up, right?
Right. I mean, but this Tetravis is nuts. So.
Yeah, I mean, Mike can play a Triskelion here, right? He's in real good shape.
He can play a land. He can do all sorts of shit.
Time Walk, just so good. So good in this position. Like you said, splitting.
Andres made me not play Time Walk in the org deck I played in the Derby.
Ugh, so
I
nonsense.
know we're playing 4 Blood Moons, but like, I mean, have you seen these Time Walks, man?
The Time Walk is so good. I mean, it's this does give 7 cards for Will potentially to draw a balance or something.
To draw God knows what. He has the most powerful cards in all of Magic. He could just play Lotus Mind Twist. Like, there's a million things here.
Yeah, Mike doesn't really get Lotus Mind Twist turn unless he has Landmarks, Time Walk again. Yeah, he'd need to Time Walk again.
If he has Landmarks, Time Walk, untap, Mind Twist, you land, whatever. He deserves it, but. Honestly, just having 4 1/1 flyers is going to make this very tough. This game is so different, given that's a Tetravis versus being. Oh my God, does he have Time Walk? Holy shit, dude! Oh my God.
Cool. Copy. Very good as well.
All right. Will
So
needs that
this
balance.
and a Triskelion. Oh
Yeah,
no.
now
Okay,
we're
we're
on the
gonna burn.
balance. We're
All
on
right, we're
balance.
burning for two. Though we're burning for two, which I think Mike wants
Relevant.
to do. Well, I think Mike wants to do that here, right? Because
Mirror
one of the
season.
outs, exactly, one of Will's outs to all these Petrovis is
Will
Mirror.
has balance. Okay, I knew he had balance or ancestral. The way he tapped that Tundra was so fucking confident and played it. Okay, now I don't know if he has balance, but I knew he had something really good to do.
We got a demonic or a regrowth.
Right. He's moving that City of Brass over. Demonic for
A
balance.
demonic for balance. Yeah, but yeah. Oh, Time Walk. Okay, that was the other option.
Card is so good.
Is he gonna bolt that Juggernaut?
Bolt. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so he does not have demonic tutor.
And a swords.
Swords the other Tetravis. Okay. Like, we're looking at the power of these 4/1/1s, right? He cannot just bolt that thing or shatter it or this divine offer or whatever. Actually, he can divine offering it. That's pretty fucking good.
Divine Offering buys him a lot of turns.
Yes, it's actually that's the other card that I think drawing.
It's Time Warp, right? Divine Offering is basically Time Warp. It's Time Warp times 2 in this case.
So he did play 4 cards there. So he's down to only. I guess he has 5 left, which is still.
He has book though here, so he can start trying. It's just so awkward because he wants a 1-for-1, and he can't afford the swords and bolt those 1/1s. Like
he also
had
ancestral though.
Oh yeah. He ancestral. He has a pile of cards. You're right.
It's not 3.
No, the dice is wrong.
Oh, the die are also tokens.
No, those are Tetraphites.
I know.
Oh, fuck.
I know.
Said Mike some Bram tokens.
Yeah, I just we'll have recall or something here, but it's just recall for ancestral, which is just it's just fine. He needs something better than that.
He has a lot of cards now. He wants this Angel.
Geyser?
Angel would be nuts.
It's recall.
For 2.
Ancestral Time Walk.
Yeah. You can't get those 1-for-1s. They don't do anything.
Yeah, you gotta
He's gonna
try.
draw into more 1-for-1s. So
All
this
right,
is a
so
shield
he's
down turn. Like,
he has to dodge Mind Twist.
Oh, maybe
Okay, never
he
mind.
doesn't.
Never mind. Never mind. Okay, can he chain this together to get?
Got 5 draws here potentially.
he has cast a lot of ancestral recalls.
Yeah.
In matches, I will say.
Nice restricted blue cards.
Yeah. And time. Yeah, exactly. And time walks.
What he really wants is Hurricane. Which is coming up if anyone wants to come to Houston. I'm having an event called Hurricane.
Oh man, nobody picked up on that. God, we were the worst.
No, it's fine. Hurricane is good against this Tetris. It's a lot of cards. All right, we gotta book in response, right?
I don't know. Oh, he
Divine.
has the divine
Dio?
offering. That's so big. 8/6.
Very good. Okay, so that buys him a couple
A
turns.
lot of turns.
He didn't motion to the dice though, but I'm assuming he attacked for 4.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what's. Oh yeah, because Will's at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He gains 3, right?
Yep.
He
Yeah,
gains
yeah,
6 and
that's-
loses 3. Yeah. So
Right.
it's
Net gains 3. I think that's right.
Yep. Whoever said it earlier, I think it was Simon, it's a double time walk.
yeah, double time. Yeah, so we and we get a book. That
Follow up, huh? Wow.
Yeah, very.
Like, gaining 10 life here is fucking monstrous. You know, like these when he's at 13 or what? I can't even read those dice. 12. against 3/1/1s, that's a pretty reasonable clock.
But he's at what? He's at 22,
22,
Will,
I think,
right?
yep.
Yeah.
I mean, he also has his own twister and potentially a second demonic.
Ooh,
Okay,
another
we're
ancestral.
Regrowing.
Old Faithful.
That's 9 cards that Ancestral is drawing this game.
So that's what his great grandfather?
Yeah.
Third ancestral?
Yeah. No, just single great. Yeah, your father, your grandfather, your great grandfather.
Your great grandfather's ancestral. Yeah.
He is going to have to do something about these one still, though. He's going to have to just lose some
At this point,
card
he can
advantage.
just 1-for-1 him, or
Yeah, he has enough life. He just needs to pack 1 or 2 of them off because 3 is still a substantial clock, right? Even if just killing 1 of them makes a huge difference.
I'm wondering, like hell, what the cards in Mike's hand are.
I'm glad he made Tetravitz though, because if that was just an actual creature, this is completely.
Strip mine on factory. Strip mine on factory.
Yeah.
Activate for mana, right? We're gonna book. Yeah. Leaving up Tundra and not Bolt Tundra. Interesting. So presumably white removal spell in hand. Will's gonna take this and then keep the counter spell. He might kill it end of turn, I think.
Agreed.
I don't think you kill it here. He has enough life.
That's part of the value of all those things. You can afford to take 2 here to be able to counterspell any.
Oh, he's taking 5 though.
You take 5, but that's fine.
Take an
You
extra
go to
2. Take
17.
Yeah.
Okay. What do
A
we
little
know?
surprised because I think you want to. I mean, maybe he doesn't have the counterspell,
Oh no,
and
we knew what he drew. We knew he drew strip, right? So we knew he didn't draw anything. So.
No. Okay. Yes. True. Will's paying more attention than us.
Yeah.
Not a surprise. Not a surprise.
Yeah. We're here talking about
But
absolute nonsense. What's going? I guess he did not play strip last turn. Yeah, I guess that's possible. It feels like Will's kind of regretting that, right?
I take 2. I mean, the difference between being on 19 and 17.
Right.
Yeah, 19 and 17. I mean, it possibly doesn't have a counterspell, so maybe he doesn't think it's worth the bluff.
Sure.
And it's better to have the 2 life. That's a perfectly reasonable play to make.
He already regrowth too, right? So he has no good cards left in his deck, other than just removal spells. He has Brain Geyser. Sorry, he has Brain Geyser still.
And that.
Hey, yeah. That'll help.
That's just a removal spell, right? Like what else?
So Mike could show us Shadow for the first time. We haven't seen it. We haven't seen any.
I think I removed just 3 counters.
Yeah.
All 3, because those 1/1s are all basically the same card at this point. So.
And you can't target the Tetravitz, correct?
Yeah, you cannot. It has to be a card, not a token.
Great. Yeah, I've had so many of my Rook tokens Chaos Orbed over the years. I should have like a much better winning percentage.
I know I've won at least 2 games or 2 matches off the back of orbing cards.
Chaos orbing your opponent's
tokens that were not.
Can't.
Oh, Simon got it, but yeah.
Alright, so I will kill your 1/1. Which is kind of annoying because he wants to keep that around to potentially Divine Offering at some point if he draws another one.
Yeah.
To the point where he might even, like, kill that Volk or something, you know?
Yeah, I don't hate that. It's a hit, whatever it was.
Yeah.
It's just a threat. All right, he still gets the book here.
The Emerald.
Well, no, it's his turn. He's down to 4. I think he's down to 4 cards. What's he at? 18. He's still in fine shape, but good lord, this Tetravitz.
Yeah.
Showing its power.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to ask if he did have the counterspell. It's going to be hard for us to tell.
I don't think it matters a ton, right? Because he just traded Chaos Orb for it anyway, so it's not the end of the world. I think he would rather trade Counterspell for it than Chaos Orb. Although, honestly, at this point, he might not, because now he has tons of mana. So I actually think...
I think he wants to trade... Yeah, I like trading the Counterspell, because I think Chaos Orb is better for him against Suchi. Right?
Sure, but he presumably has plenty of 1-for-1 removal, and he wants to guard against things like Mind Twist and Time Twister. Right? And now
true, but
so
he was tapped out. He was tapped out for that anyway, though. So
that one turn.
That's a
yeah.
So was it?
Given how it happened, I don't think he's mad about how that shook out.
Yeah, he's on book here, and Mike has basically done nothing for a couple turns. I know he did play this Triskelion, and he's chipping with these 3, but
dude, he's at 2 if he doesn't have Divine Offerings. I know that's the whole point. That's why people have Divine Offerings, but...
Divine Offerings insane. We have a main deck, or a main phase book here, potentially.
Yeah, probably.
What better to do with a giant pile of mana?
Yeah. Man, he would love to play Sarah Angel right now.
This is, man, thinking about Fireball.
What's he at? 18? I don't think he has fire, right?
Second book. I think Fireball comes out, but it's possible that he... I mean,
it is also one of his few outs.
Okay.
I guess we're going to find out if he has it. It's one of his few outs. Like, he can't Time Twister here, I don't think.
I don't think you want to Twister either, no.
He doesn't want Brain Geyser because he has these books, so I think it's Fireball or Mana Drain, you know?
Yeah, this feels like a Mana Drain to me, because you just want to start going crazy with those books.
Unless he has Fireball. If he has Fireball, he's going to kill those Tetravites. Can he do it? He might have to wait one turn to do it.
Yeah, he doesn't tap out for it, though, this turn, I don't think.
No, he'll do it next.
Bolt you to take my hand down to 1.
Okay, so he has balance. Okay, so that's... Yeah, whatever. We forgot about balance, too, because we're not paying attention, but that's fine. He has 2 books in play, and he might even have less lands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, Will has to lose a land or 2. He's played all of his...
I don't know.
6 lands versus
6, yeah.
3,
6 to 7.
6, 7, 8.
7, 8, yeah.
I think he can lose City of Brass here, right? Doesn't he?
He already cast Demonic.
He already cast Regrowth.
And Regrowth.
He can't cast... I guess that takes him off. That's actually, it only takes him off of... Yeah, that's easy.
Just stops Twister. And now he still has presumably Counterspell plus 2. Book.
Yep.
Alright, very good position here for Will. Book.
Drew Factory and said go. End of turn book. Yep.
Now he's humming.
Command is a very tricky position. Just tap your books every turn. And then you get to the main phase book, which is never what you want to see when it's not desperate, right? So when you're the opponent and your your opponent is tapping books just because they have infinite mana and there's nothing you can do that can scare them.
This is so much the deck being the deck, it's actually kind of gross.
I love how we all just forgot about balance being a Magic card.
Given how much
I was focused on how he wins instead of how to stabilize the board state, because I was not the one being attacked for 3.
Oh, I was fully focused on getting rid of those Tetravites, and I still like. We talked about balance earlier as an out, right? And then we just haven't mentioned it since.
Because that was the out. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is over, unfortunately, for Mike.
It. Yeah, unless he like drew Time Twister.
This is Suchi or Juggernaut. Will might just be able to let that resolve depending on what's in his hand.
I think if you have counter and no other action, you have to counter it, though. You can't afford to lose to that Suchi.
No, but he has disenchant. Yeah. So
you're going to take 4 more from that, right?
That is super greedy, right? Potentially the way that the timing worked there. I mean, Mike, you get to this point against the deck where you just suddenly go, I have to attack, and they probably have it, but I lose.
have to do
And that's
something because if I don't do anything, I'm guaranteed to lose.
correct. Will's slightly too high, right? He's slightly too much life to be on the I can sit here and wait for 3 spells, especially double book plus library. That's a lot of reading on Will's side of the
Dude,
board.
He's at -3 without those divine offerings, though. That second divine offering was unbelievable. The six, killing that Tetravis.
It's interesting
Yeah,
though
I mean-
because Mike has like 15 mana in play, so he could ostensibly put himself down into bolt range and sandbag like bolt and Reb for the mirror for when Will finds his mirror.
But at this point, I don't even know if he does find mirror. Right? He just doesn't even need it.
Yeah.
I
Will's
mean, if you
gonna.
play mirror. That's the cool thing
Will's-
about mirror is that, like, sometimes you play it and they burn down, and then you're like, all right, bolt you.
Reb.
Okay.
All right, that's something.
Also, the last card in Mike's hand.
Swords. Not swords.
Yeah,
Just
you
kidding.
might want to wait and do that on your
Get a
turn.
library.
Get
Get
a
back.
library card.
Get back. Yeah.
You realized it.
Yeah, I can see.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, there's that trophy to add to Will's case, Mano.
He did it, so now the only thing he's missing is a shark.
Okay.
I guess, yeah, we can unmute them and see what they think.
It's rare to get a 5-game set where none of them are absolute stinkers.
Yeah,
True.
yeah. 0 stinkers. Yeah, those were all.
I gotta mute all you guys in Discord so we don't echo.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think
know.
we should unmute them.
Yeah, that's what I just did.
Congrats, Will.
Thank you
Great
both for
match,
for a
guys.
wonderful match. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
Yeah.
unmuted you guys.
Thank you very much for a wonderful match. Congratulations, Will.
Thanks.
Hell of a match.
That was a hell of a match. I knew it was gonna be because Mike took me absolutely to the wire the first time around too. It was like the thinnest of margins in our first meeting, so I'm not surprised. Well
I
played.
don't know if you guys were listening. I told Will I think the value of Mirror of Universe just went up like $200. So
No, it was really good. I gotta tell you, Mike, there was some that was some good play. It was good
Yeah.
top
Yeah.
decks from both guys. Like
yeah. Fortunately, the only thing I'm questioning what I did in that last game was when I cast the Twister. I was saying my hand was Psionic Blast, Twister land, and maybe I should have just tried to grind that out for a few more turns. But I mean, I knew he had a counterspell in hand, so I really wanted to try and resolve the Twister there, but not sure. Not sure.
I mean, I feel like you had a pretty good shot there to just draw well.
Yeah. I mean, but I have to know with Tetravis, like, you basically need to find balance at that point.
I had so that turn, the turn where I had Demonic Tutor and Balance in my hand before you time twisted.
Oh,
I
did
could
you?
have tutored for Balance. I was like, I'll just play Book this turn. Next turn, I'll just tutor for Balance because I want to have like something rather than just
Okay.
kind of be like, okay, we can get you to 3 cards, but in hindsight, that was probably not great. But I was like, okay, this is where I want to, kind of.
Okay, so you could have balanced next turn anyways then. So, okay. I feel better now about it. So,
Yeah.
yeah, this is definitely a very hard matchup for this deck. You're significantly favored, but it's, need to go back with some new sideboarding strategies, I think, to try to win this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, I think we saw the power of the Sage, right? When we saw the
Yeah,
power. That's
it
your
paralyzed
way.
me.
That's your
Totally
way to
paralyzed
grind. I
me.
mean, Will basically just couldn't do anything for multiple turns, right? When you had that Sage, just so
Yeah.
powerful to have Sage.
I'm going to be honest. I think 4 Sages are going to be part of the plan, at least 3. I only have 2 right now, and did
Yeah.
not feel like enough in this matchup. So,
The Sage is great. Sage is great. Those are
great card.
very good. So Mike, for your sideboarding, you brought in obviously the 2 sages and I guess 2 shatters and 2 rebs. Is that what you
I brought in 2 sages, 2 shatters, and 2 rebs exactly. Yeah, I left the 3rd reb out. The 3rd reb was in, I want to say, game 3. And to be honest, the way I feel about that card is you never have it in hand at the right moment.
Yeah.
You really don't. Like, and it's so
Yeah.
hard. And there's not really a single spell that I really want to force through with Reb.
But sometimes it wins the game, or sometimes it loses the game.
If you ask me, it's maybe one of the most overrated cards in sideboards, and I might be going down to 1 or 2.
We talked a little bit about it. My take on it is I think I don't hate 1 coming in as a kind of a sneaky Reb. I think you saw probably the second best use case in the game I think it was this last game where you played the Suchi and you get to counter his counter spell. Yeah. That's like the second best position. I guess the first is you get to Psionic Blast him when it's for lethal and counter spell. That's the best use case you can really have for it. And that doesn't come up that often, which means it's probably, he only has 10 blue cards max, right, in his deck post forward. But yeah, maybe 1 Reb is probably fine. So you brought 2, and then you cut obviously 1 Abyss, and you probably cut some number of Ices, and you either cut copies or bolts.
I cut copies and 2 bolts. Yeah, not copies. Sorry, Ices and bolts.
Ices and bolts. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the Ices can sometimes be interesting with disrupting your mana base, but I don't know. They just feel like pretty suboptimal. They can't really do a whole lot outside of that.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. You cut the bolts. I think there's a big tension there. So I think bolt. I think from my standpoint, I think we saw game 4, was it, where Will got to trade his factory for your Juggernaut. That's like why bolt's so good. I think. Yeah. Right. I mean, that's why bolt's in your deck.
I moved 1 bolt back in one of the games, and again,
it's really good.
I'm not sure. I don't know if it's really good. I think there's good situations for it, but again, it feels somewhat like Red Blast. Like, I feel like throwing a bolt at him is not the game plan I want to be doing.
It can win you a game, but it also can just kind of be like, I don't want to keep bolt up forever. I don't want to keep Red Blast up forever. You kind of have to deploy threats. Like, it gets in there's weird spots where, like, if I'm at 1 life, it's obviously great, but if it's, and if it's Red Blast, it's terrible, but it's like the opposite of those, and you can never really know. That's my experience with it, is that it's just such a tough one to kind of have to pick between those 2, like, very powerful, very different, but also somewhat narrow effects in this matchup.
I've never done the blue-red, and this is also my first time ever playing Atlantic, too, so I wasn't totally sure what to expect as far as Atlantic goes. If you ask me, I think now the deck, I would say, either needs Winter Orb or Blood Moon, somewhere in the 75.
Yeah.
Blood Moon, another good one against the deck, for sure.
Pretty good fucking run for your first time in Atlantic.
I'm very happy. This is my first webcam tournament, too, so.
Wow.
So it was very fun. Definitely will do it again.
So you weren't intentionally tilting everyone into the sun before tonight with your camera angle?
No, I had no clue. No one said anything to me before, and then I get off stream, and everyone's like, dude, everyone's talking shit about your camera angle, and I'm like, I just threw something together, hoped it looked good. So, I tried to fix it for tonight.
Your camera job is perfect for tonight.
All right, good.
Yeah, you did well. It looks good. So, Mike, I have one last question about your deck. Is your deck pick on top of a towel?
Is my deck? Yeah. So
that's what your friends were talking about.
Got it. So interesting. Not interesting, but sort of what's going on right now. My father-in-law is actually going through some health issues right now, and I've been spending time between here and my in-laws' house to help out. And there was the night that I had to sort of last chance to submit a deck pick. I had like nothing to put my deck out on, and I just grabbed like a kitchen towel, and I'm like, I'm just gonna throw it on this because that's what I have, so my cards don't get all sticky. And I think I played 1 match on a kitchen towel. Like, got to do what you got to do, right?
I've done paper towels before.
Yeah.
Kitchen towels a little faster than that.
Yeah, that is the story behind the Towel deck pick.
Okay, no,
Okay.
great. And Will, from your side for the sideboarding, you were, I'm guessing, Abyss, Plains
Yep.
out for sure.
Yeah,
Probably a counterspell of Fireball.
that's it.
Okay, and then
And
bring
I
in
kept it the
the
same.
obvious ones.
Bringed
Yeah,
in the Bolt, the Divine Offering, the Disenchant, and the Plateau.
Plateau. Yeah, okay, yeah.
You didn't have a
Yeah,
ton
the
on your
Bolt-
sideboard for shops, which I'm surprised. I mean, I guess it's such a good matchup to begin with that it
Yeah, I
doesn't feel like you need a whole
played it a
lot.
bunch, and the more it was that when I played the deck mirror, I don't want to really have more than 6 disenchant effects because you just like there's nothing to cut at a certain point. So, and I figured the shops matchups, solid enough that I should be able to, pull it out, and just barely was able to. So, yeah, but no, I don't have a lot in my board for it. I mean, I think a lot of people do, but a lot of people, usually if you do, it's because you're just getting absolutely trounced by it rather than paying 1 and 2 for stopping 4s and 6s.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
There was a lot. The only question really of the games, Will, was, and it was more not even a play or not play, but we had some discussion about the turn where Mike attacks with a factory and 3 tetrabytes, and you have Tundra up, and I think you're on 6 or 7 cards. I can't remember. But whether you had the counterspell there because he. Okay, so we were discussing, and I was like, I think. It seemed like you were.
I had book and nothing else.
Yeah. Okay.
In hand, book and mana.
So you disenchanted just to save the 2 life, basically, knowing that he might have a count. I think Mike has a jam regardless, even if you keep up blue. So I don't think the bluff counts there anyway. But okay. Yeah. Makes sense.
I felt like the 2 life was more important than any bluff equity.
Yeah, I mean, I think we really saw the power of, we saw on one side the power of Tetravus, and then we instantly saw the power of Divine Offering.
Yeah.
So, and Time Walks, you guys both had several Time Walks throughout the match that were just astounding.
Yeah, that Time Twister was insane for me, where I was just like, oh, okay. I really wanted balance. I was like, I really want to balance. I just want to balance. I don't want to do anything else. And then it was like, okay, well, if I can't do that, then I'm just going to play Ancestral and then Time Walk and then Recall and then Time Walk again and Ancestral again and have 1,000,000 mana. And then I finally drew Demonic Tutor, and I was like, oh, thank goodness. Like, now I can just fully go to work here and just drop both books and get rid of the Tetrabyte tokens that I otherwise just can't kill, basically. I was like,
it's a potential
do I
downside
start blowing
of removing
disenchants on those?
Yeah, I was going to say, it's a potential downside of the Fireball coming out, I guess, is it's one less way to deal with the split. It's awkward.
Yeah. I mean, he only had 1.
I only have 1. It's incredibly hard for me ever to split it.
Yeah.
That's why I had to really try and set it up with that Time Walk turn.
I got so punished there because, I had Disenchant. My hand was like Disenchant, Tutor, Book, and a land, I think, maybe. The turn that I tapped out for book.
Yeah.
So I could have just balanced to 3 cards, but I was like, I want to just get this book in play. Hopefully you play another threat, and then I can I'm like, I really don't have anything that I'm that worried about. And then you were like, Petrovus, Time Walk, Time Twister. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess I am in trouble now.
The variance machine.
The variance machine. And thankfully, got Ancestral 3 times after that. So it's like, obviously I can't be upset about it, but it took me a long while to find that balance or, the tutor to get the balance, because I was like, this is just such a nightmare for me. And that's how I lost when I played against Doug Miles in the top, what was it, 16? 8, I don't know, 8, I think. It's all running together. When I played against him, he did Tetravus Time Walk and just split it, and I was just like, all right, I lose now. Had a couple turns and lost. And I mean, it's such a good card when that happens, but then it's also so terrible when it gets Divine Offering.
Yeah, no, great run. I don't know if anyone else has a question for you, but congrats, Will. And I guess you get to stay in the group chat with me and Sponta now that you've won a derby. So
I was at risk there. I would have been living that one down for a long time.
It's a powerful group chat.
Not only won the Derby, but undefeated.
Yeah, that's
Undefeated
still,
as the first seed, yeah, and the first seed also winning the Derby. I don't know if that's happened before the first seeds made it all the way, but that's a good run.
No. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I got. This tournament had broke my way so many times through the. I mean, that first game, I had no business winning that first game. I ripped the mirror and then I ripped regrowth into bolt.
Yeah, well, and Mike could have tapped your City of Brass.
But it would have put me to 1.
Yeah, but it stops your regrowth.
Yeah, true. That's
but
true.
So the thing was, but
he was dead. I was dead the next. I guess, yeah, if you tap my city, you still get in with Juggernaut, maybe.
No, well, the thought process is they're saying you wouldn't have had the green mana to.
Yeah.
So
but
I wasn't.
If you.
So to be honest, the reason why I didn't do that was because I knew he didn't have Bolt. When he burned himself to 2, I knew he didn't have Bolt in hand. And again, I guess I didn't really consider the fact that he was going to top deck potentially regrowth there.
That's the only card.
And I wanted to if he plays like a second Mishra's or something, he lives another turn. So I wanted to have the option to tap down the Mishra's that was in play and whatever, and maybe a second Mishra's at the end of that turn.
Well, you could have actually, though, in thinking about it, you could have on your turn you could have tapped the Mishra's.
No, because
he's playing around 2 blockers.
At the end of my turn.
So he's playing around 2 blockers, I think.
You were going to 6, and I had Juggernaut and Mishra's in play. You had 1 Mishra's in play.
But
if
you
play
Ices.
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
I did have 2 Ices.
You did have 2 Ices.
So
okay, that might have been a misplay then. Yeah, that might have been a misplay.
Yeah.
I honestly just didn't even consider regrow as like something you were going to top deck, to be honest.
Hindsight's 20/20, so.
Yeah,
so.
It's far easier to say it now than in the moment.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of interaction, a lot of back and forth, a lot of power drawn. Will's going to have to do some homage to his ancestrals, because I don't know how many ancestrals. He played more than 5 ancestrals in 5 games, so
it was incredibly disheartening. Yeah, I was basically in game 5. I was basically checked out about 20 minutes into that game because he had just outdrawn me so much, and it was like I know how that game goes, and my chances were probably very, very low.
It's going to take 30 minutes, but it's
I'd already lost, so you know.
Right.
Well, gentlemen, congratulations to both of you. Mace, Mano, anything you want to ask the guys before we sign off?
Not really, except for Will. This is the second to last thing on your bucket list, right? Just a shark, and then you're done.
True.
You can finally start
then I can just quit. Yeah. Just
you can
sell out.
Sell out.
Sell out for good. Yeah.
Sell out. Buy a house. Live on the main line with your shark and your other winnings.
With my shark, yeah.
Yeah. Go to Villanova games.
Start raising. Start a big family and have all my kids. Tell all my kids about how I won the summer derby.
You still need to win a Spike Fest, Will, as well.
Ooh, yeah, true. I'm a lot further from that than anything else.
Given how no one's allowed to talk about that, does that result actually count?
Well, I wouldn't really be able to tell anybody, but I definitely haven't. So.
We would definitely see a cool card in Will's deck.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I would definitely bribe the TO to give me something sweet.
Something playable in the deck, please.
please. Yeah, something good. But thank you guys for casting and streaming. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Mike,
thanks for a great match.
Fun to watch back.
Yeah, Mike, if you want to go back and watch back, and Will, same thing. It's going to be up on it'll be up on YouTube later in the week, and I will share the link around. So
sounds good.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
Given how good those 5 games were, I definitely want to make sure that people who didn't get a chance to watch them get a chance to watch them. They were good TV.
Yeah, absolutely. All right,
great
thanks,
job,
guys.
Great finish for both of you guys.
Yeah, man. Congratulations to you guys.
Bye, guys. Great game, Will. Thanks.
Yeah, good game, Mike.
Have a good night, everybody, and thank you for tuning in. We can be found here on Twitch every Sunday night, and we can be found on YouTube, youtube.com/superliminalfilms. We do all kinds of stuff. It's not just old school, but it is often old school. So, signing off for also my compatriots this evening, thank you all, and good night.